my name is Ann Beecher, and today I'm going to be talking about carbon fiber hockey sticks. So, just some basics on hockey sticks for those of you that don't know. So here's my stick, and from where my hands are, that right there, that's called the shaft of the stick. And then right here on this white taped part, this is the blade. This is where I have the puck when I'm stick handling or passing or shooting. And so that's just some basics there. And so there's about 3 characteristics that competitive players look for when they're choosing a hockey stick. So the first one is lightness. So you're going to see how light or how heavy the hockey stick is. So you just feel how much it weighs. The second one is flexibility. So when I push on my stick, I'm able to flex it a little bit. That really helps with my shot, having my shot be hard. And the third one is feel. And so that's a little hard to describe to someone who doesn't play hockey, but when I'm like stick handling around and passing, feel is almost like, the feel of the hockey stick is I can almost feel the puck with my hands when I'm stick handling around. I know that sounds weird, but that's how it is. You can feel the ice. It helps you with your stick, how well you can stick handle, your shooting accuracy, and your passing accuracy. And so now, I'm going to tell you about how the hockey stick came to be invented and how it kind of evolved over the years to fit those 3 characteristics of flexibility, lightness, and feel. So, first of all, the hockey stick was invented in the 1800s in, guess where? Yeah, Canada. So it was invented on this island called Nova Scotia. It's a maritime province. Not quite sure what that means, but anyway. They're these Indians, and they had hockey sticks, and they played on ponds. They would cut their hockey sticks out of wood, like trees. They would actually use knives and cut their hockey sticks out of the wood. And so they were the only manufacturers of hockey sticks for a while. They made them out of maple and willow and birch. And I don't know if you've ever held this size amount of wood, but it's pretty heavy. I mean, those early hockey sticks had some good feel to them and some good flexibility, if you want to say that, but they were heavy. And so players pretty much played with those kind of sticks until the 1920s. And then what they started to do is they would have wooden sticks like this, but what they would do is it would be laminated wood. So basically, if you want to think about it like a sandwich, they would have layers of wood with glue in between. So the layers of wood would be like the bread, and the glue would be like the sandwich. That made this hockey stick a little bit lighter, and gave it a little bit of a better feel and flexibility. So basically, players played like that till the 1960s. And so that's 40 years. That's a long time for a hockey stick not to have changed that much. And then players start to curve their hockey blades. So I don't know if you can see this. This is a curved blade. Before they were completely straight. Now a curved blade totally changed the physics of how you shot and stick handled, and it was so much better. So after the 1960s, everybody started to have curved blades on their hockey sticks. Now jump 20 years in the future, you got to the 1980s. And so I don't know if you know, but there's this guy called Wayne Gretzky, and he was pretty much the best hockey player who ever lived. And he was playing around this time. And so what he used this hockey stick with an aluminum shaft and a wooden blade. So the aluminum was better because it was lighter. They were still playing with these heavy wooden things. That was not as good. And so they played with these aluminum shafts. And the aluminum shafts were lighter, but, well, I guess an aluminum shaft, if you want to picture it, is like a rectangular tube. Tube like my shaft here, but it's made of aluminum, and it is a lot lighter. But it's stiff, and it doesn't have as good a feel when you're stick handling around. So players weren't a huge fan of that, but, it was a lot better than the heavy wood that they were already always carrying around. So they ended up liking that. And then, around the 1990s, late 1990s, early 2000s, Bauer, which is a big hockey company right now, came out with this composite stick. This is a full shaft was composite, blade was composite. And this thing was light, it had great flexibility, and a really good feel. It was really good when you're stick handling around. This was a total revolution in the hockey stick industry. And so NHL players, which is our elite league, for those of you that don't know, started playing with these sticks. And these sticks were expensive because you're playing with wood, you can just chop down a tree. You're playing with like carbon fiber, which is what they're made of, composite sticks. Those things are expensive. You got to manufacture this carbon fiber. But they were so much better, and they loved them, and so they became like what every competitive player wanted to have one of these because they were great. And so now every competitive player does have one of these sticks. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how they're manufactured and what's in them, but more on that later. All right. Okay, so remember I was talking about how carbon fiber allows these sticks to have great flex, be lightweight, and have a good feel? Well, I'm going to tell you about the material that allows them to do that. So, first of all, just some background. Carbon fiber isn't just in hockey sticks and rockets and cars because it conducts electricity really well. It can stand heat up to like 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. It's crazy. This stuff is really, really strong and lightweight. It's basically kind of a super material. So carbon is the whole reason that this carbon fiber is such a great material. So, first of all, carbon has many allotropes. An allotrope, we learned about these, an allotrope is when the element bonds together, the same element bonds together in different ways to form different shaped compounds or not compounds, but different shaped bonds to form different shapes, and that gives it different chemical and physical properties like buckyballs, graphene, graphite. Okay, so you see how it's like a pencil is graphite, and the graphene is super strong but really thin. Anyway, so carbon fiber is just like that. The carbon part is just like that. So carbon fiber is formed as carbon, but it's in these things called nanotubes. And so this is a picture of a nanotube, and this is the allotrope of carbon, that's that. And so what they do is they take petroleum pitch, which is basically tar. It's a byproduct of oil refineries where you make gasoline and all sorts of different petroleum products. And so they take this coal tar and they basically, you can think of it like they put it into filaments, like they basically make it into yarn-like filaments. And they roll those up, and those are filaments of carbon. And then they heat them up, which is actually called carbonization, to drive all the impurities out, so they're pure carbon. They put them on this reel, like a fishing reel, and they roll them all up, and they roll them all out, and they weave them together into like a material. You could almost think of it as like a fabric. And then what they do is they put one on top of the other, they cut them at angles, and they put one on top of the other, so some of the carbon yarns are parallel, and some of them are right across, perpendicularly. So what this does is this gives the carbon both its flexibility properties and its strength. And so that's all to do with how the carbon fibers are parallel to each other and how they intersect. So, and then they push them together, and they heat them up, and they put this stuff called resin on them, which is basically like glue, and that makes them stick together really well. And then what they do once they have all their sheets is that they take a rectangle mold and they wrap this stuff around it. Like, this thing is hollow, just so you know. They wrap it around it and they heat it up, and they seal it with this resin again, which resin is basically a polymer. It can be a lot of different things. Sometimes it's plant resin, but usually it's artificially made resin. And depending on the different kinds that you use, it has different industrial purposes. And the kind that they use is just a very basic resin here. And so you can think of it like glue. And so they make it, and so now you have your shaft that's around this mold. You get your shaft. And then they basically do the same thing with the blade, except what they do is they'll put it over something that looks like a blade, because my blade is hollow, or my blade is kind of hollow too in the middle, and they'll shape it and they cut it, and they have different presses where they have molds. They put it in, they press it, and so that's basically how a carbon fiber stick is made. And what you have to remember is those properties of carbon. It's high valency, which lets it have lots of allotropes. That gives carbon fiber all its properties. So as a basis, this is really, and a little bit of resin, but you got glue and everything basically. So it's really carbon's unique properties that give you these sticks that are so amazing and can do so much stuff. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool. But alright, so that's how carbon fiber sticks are made. That's the chemical properties that are in them. Unfortunately, there's not some fancy compound in them. It's just basically carbon that has been manufactured and processed. And so that's basically it. But you just got to remember that carbon, it may not seem like much, but we're made of a lot of carbon, and these sticks and like rocket engines are made of carbon too. It's just this simple element that you can process and you make it do amazing things. Alright, so I've been telling you guys how carbon fiber sticks are so much better than wood sticks, how they're lighter, more flexible, and have a better feel. So now I'm going to show you one of the problems with carbon fiber sticks. Kona, you broke it! Oh, I'm just kidding. Actually, my stick got broken in a game. If you can see it, got hit right there by a girl, and that's one of the problems with these carbon fiber sticks is they're not as durable as the wooden sticks are. And so as a result of them not being as durable, people break them a lot more often. And so that leads us to the concern of recycling. Carbon fiber is a very expensive material to manufacture, and the raw materials are pretty expensive too. And so you really don't want to just toss your stick away, your broken stick away. Also, they have a long landfill life. So if you put these sticks in a landfill, they'll take a long time to degrade, and that's not good for the environment. So there's really one major method that they use to reclaim carbon fiber from broken carbon fiber items, like even car parts too that are made of carbon fiber. So what they do is they break the carbon fiber into little pieces, they put it in with a processing liquid into a centrifuge, and then they spin it around for a while until the carbon fiber is all separated out, and then they dry it. And so that way reclaims about 99% of the clean fiber. However, the fiber isn't as strong as it used to be, but they can reuse it like that. So that's a really good way of recycling it. And then there's carbon fiber hockey sticks. I'm shifting gears now. Now we're going to talk about the future of hockey sticks. And so I don't remember if you guys, we finished watching the graphene thing in class, but graphene is the big new substance for hockey sticks. So those sticks are expensive. Like regular carbon fiber sticks are expensive, about $200. Now graphene sticks top out right now about $700. Graft, that's a hockey stick maker, they have made like one of the first graphene sticks. It's super light, it shoots really well and stuff, but it's not going to become mainstream for at least a few years. And so that's what we're kind of looking at the future of hockey sticks, lighter, even stronger material than previously. So I hope you guys like my presentation. So see you.